and welcome. Welcome to the federal-wide kickoff for National Disability Employment Awareness Month. My name is Allison Levy, and I'm the Disability Program Manager for U.S. Department of Agriculture. We're proud to host this event today in celebrating our new partnership with the National Disability Mentoring Coalition, a nonprofit organization that supports mentoring of people with disabilities, both youth and adults, in transitioning to work, as well as for current employees with disabilities who are seeking advancement in federal service. I wanted to take a minute just to thank some folks who've really made today possible. I feel like it's my birthday or Christmas morning because we've been working diligently for several months now to prepare for this event, and we're so excited to welcome people from throughout federal service and also our partners in the disability community. So thank you very much for coming today. We've had a lot of tremendous support from some of our internal offices as well. I want to first recognize the Target Center, which is part of the Office of Operations, who have really helped a lot with the marketing and the logistics and videotaping and streaming this event for the first time for us to YouTube. So thank you very much for your help. As many of you know, this month, Disability Employment Awareness Month in October every year, was designated about 71 years ago to try and focus on employment of people with disabilities. We know there's a ripple effect. When we hire one person with a disability, or when we advance one person with a disability, it not only impacts that individual, but it also impacts their friends, their families, the places where they work, the money they earn goes back into our economy. It has a very strong ripple effect, not only for them, but for those around them. So we believe employment of people with disabilities is really, really important. We've also learned it through our experiences that networking and mentoring are opportunities directly to people with disabilities yields better results. We can't assume that our messages that go out to the general public or general audiences in our workplace are really reaching those who may need these types of programs most. So it's really important to reach out to people with disabilities, make sure your programs are accessible and that all are welcome and that all are included. So today we're going to hear from a range of speakers from across federal service and from our leadership within USDA. And I'm going to start with just giving you the basic framework for what we're sharing with you today. If we could there we go. We're going to start with a message from Secretary Vilsack. For, as you know, anytime you start a new initiative, you want to start from the top. And within USDA, we have a very strong commitment from our secretary. He was not able to join us today, but he did record a video we'd like to share with you. Next, I'd like to introduce, following the videotape, our Director of Human Resources, our Chief Human Capital Officer for USDA will be introducing our senior leader, and that's Bobby Jean Port. And no, we're not ready yet. I'm giving an overview of the agenda. If you could put it back up, thanks. After the video, Bobby Jean Port will introduce Malcolm Shorter, our Deputy Assistant Secretary for Administration. And then we'll hear from the National Disability Mentoring Coalition with Derek Shields. And he'll introduce Jennifer Sheehy, who is the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Department of Labor's Office of Disability Employment Policy. Next, we'll hear from the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. We have Commissioner Kai Feldboom here. And then we'll hear from Zena Such from the Office of Personnel Management's Diversity and Inclusion Office. So we have a full agenda. We have a tremendous amount of interest in this topic, and we look forward to sharing the framework with you so you can bring it back to your own agencies and organizations and continue to reach out and mentor more people with disabilities into new employment and advancement. So with that, let's move forward to the videotape.
Good morning. I'm Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack. As I reflect on my tenure at the U.S. Department of Agriculture, I am truly proud of our progress in the cultural transformation of this department. As part of that transformation, we've increased opportunities for employment and advancement of diverse groups, making our workforce more reflective of our American society. Among those groups are people with disabilities, people who represent nearly 20% of our American citizens, whose unemployment levels are almost double those without disabilities. Today's events illustrate the widespread interest in continuing to improve the federal hiring, advancement, and retention of those with disabilities through mentoring. I want to thank the Department of Labor's Office of Disability Employment Policy, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and the Office of Personnel Management for their recognition and support of this important initiative. I especially want to thank all of our USDA employees here, who are so valuable to our organization and made this a reality. Mentoring is a strategy that complements hiring practices, employee engagement, and ultimately improved employment of people with disabilities. The mentoring luncheon later today is a great example, but it's only the beginning. To affirm our commitment and to ensure continuity of USDA's cultural transformation efforts beyond my tenure, we've developed partnerships with key disability organizations and encouraged other federal agencies to do the same. Our USDA Office of Human Resource Management's disability employment programs and mentoring programs are leading this initiative, and I thank them for that leadership. Today, I'm proud to announce that USDA is the first federal agency to sign a National Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, with the National Disability Mentoring Coalition. The coalition includes over 39 nonprofit organizations for people with disabilities and increases the awareness, quality, and impact of mentoring for individuals with disabilities across the nation. This partnership will further strengthen our connection to the disability community and expand our pipeline of new talent for job opportunities and advancement. I'm also proud to announce that I have signed a national MOU with the Association of Universities Centered on Disabilities, joining USDA for a network of more than 65 university-based programs in supporting employment of people with disabilities in every U.S. state and territory. Our disability employment program manager will continue to lead these efforts in connecting this invaluable network with our hiring efforts. In the months ahead, we'll work with these partners and others to improve our recruitment and mentoring opportunities for individuals with disabilities. We'll continue to strengthen these public-private connections and make greater progress towards improving employment of people with disabilities in the USDA and in federal workplaces. Our goal at USDA is to attain the highest standards of employment diversity and inclusion, and to serve as a model within the federal sector. With your support and hard work, we will achieve that goal. Thank you for your partnership and for making us a better USDA. Enjoy the day.
Thank you. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Bobby Jeancourt, our Chief Human Capital Officer, who will introduce our next speaker.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's great to see you all here today. I have the distinct honor today of introducing Malcolm Shorter, who was appointed the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Administration in June 2013. I have his bio here, and I know that I can describe Malcolm in a number of different ways because, number one, for us, he is an advocate. He's an advocate for the hiring and retention and engagement of all employees at USDA. He's also been a leader in the cultural transformation efforts that have helped us to increase, to make USDA look like the customers we serve. And he has very much been an advocate as well for elevating the management issues in the department. Malcolm comes to us with a distinguished career, retired from the U.S. military in September 2003 after 20 years of service. He's had a number of leadership positions in administrative, financial, and expertise in government relations and operational management. But what I know about Malcolm is from the day he arrived, he has been an advocate for all of us. So with that, I will turn it over to Malcolm Shorter, our Deputy Assistant Secretary for Administration.
Good morning. Good morning. And I just wanted to say thank you, Bobby. Certainly thank you, Allison and James and OHRM and everyone who had an opportunity to put this together for giving me an opportunity just to come down and say a few words. And my job here today is to really just kind of welcome you. And I want to welcome you to the department's federal-wide kickoff for our Disability Employment Awareness Month. You know, our theme for this month is inclusion. Inclusion works, mentoring to and through employment of people with disabilities. Great theme, a lot of words said there, but you know, federal service is at its strongest when we harness the talents of all of us and celebrate the distinctive gifts of all of our people. Today we observe the 71st anniversary of the National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And we acknowledge all of those who fought for better laws, demanded better treatment, and who put us on the path of overcoming ignorance and indifference so that we may all share in the American dream and make our nation a more perfect union. As some of you well know, Americans with disabilities make up almost 1/5 of the population, and I think you heard Secretary Vilsack say that in his comments, but he also said that the employment rate for those are twice as high. And for women and minorities with disabilities, the rates are even higher. Despite significant contributions to our society, people with disabilities still face discrimination by employers, limited access to skills training, and far too often people think they have low expectations of what they can do. They look at a disability as something which is a hindrance, not that it's the gift and the challenge that can make someone great. In federal service and within USDA, we have and we must continue to promote inclusion of people with disabilities in the workplace. And we have to continue to try to tear down the barriers that remain, including unconscious barriers, because I don't think that people often are just flat out discriminatory. Sometimes they just don't know. The Secretary talks about cultural transformation. You heard him talk about that. And it's that vision, his vision of cultural transformation for this department that he started when he first came here, that allows us to actively foster a culture in which individuals are supported and accepted for who they are, and an environment where they can be who they are without fear of discrimination or any sort of repercussion. And that's the sort of environment that we certainly try to foster here within the department. Now, while USC has made some progress in hiring, I'll be the first one to tell you, there's still more we can do. There's still more we must be able to do. We're going to be drawing from the Department of Labor's hashtag Inclusion Works theme for National Disability Awareness Month. We're expanding our own mentoring efforts to include youth and adults with disabilities. And we encourage all agencies within the department to do the same. As we think about mentoring and the role it serves, not only at work but in life, I know I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't have someone who mentored me along the way. And I just got to tell you, I still have those people and I need them. And I think as I look out in the audience, many of you are living those same parallel lives of having someone who can be there and support you. People with disabilities are looking for that exact same consideration and that exact same support. We can all reach out to at least one person, but as you do, just keep in mind and look for things that may feel counterintuitive to you, that there may be differences, but that doesn't make it bad. Their differences are okay. It's that strength of diversity that makes us a better department and a better country. For those of you who are currently seeking mentors, and for those of you who are a little hesitant, to reach out and find a mentor. Please know that the best mentoring matches are folks who are very much unlike you. In fact, as a young African-American lieutenant in the United States Army, my mentor was a 5'8" Caucasian man from Louisiana. I'm from Newark, New Jersey. We had nothing in common. But what he saw in me, he said it was talent. I said he cared. He told me when I was going right, and he also told me when I was going wrong. And the thing about mentoring is you don't have to make people in your image. You want to make them in the strength of their own image. Let them be who they are. They don't have to be like you. For those of you who are just currently seeking mentors, I would just say, search for role models you can look up to, and for people who take an interest in your career. But it's an important warning. You don't have to have mentors who look like you. Had I been waiting for a black, female, Soviet specialist mentor, I would still be waiting. Most of my mentors have been old white men because they're the ones who dominated my field. Now that wasn't necessarily me, that was Condi Rice, who rose to the top of the federal government. So it's not important that people look exactly like you. In fact, it's more important that someone cares to talk with you, to support your goals, and to provide a different perspective. Because we all sometimes get wrapped up in our own minds about what's right or wrong, and certainly we know we're going right. We need people who have a different perspective, who can help us and help us in that path to success. To better address unconscious biases and create a more inclusive work environment, mentoring provides a free, strategic path to success. We must engage one another as individuals and communicate and create a better understanding, and most importantly, show a willingness to support each other. And that's one of the things I think my boss, Dr. Greg Parham, who's the Assistant Secretary for Administration for the department, has certainly fostered within DM, and we're taking that and we're putting it all across. It's not only, it's for every individual who works in this department. That's what we're trying to foster. A willingness to support each other, allow for folks to do their best, and in spite of sometimes making a mistake, recognize that those will be made, and we will pick those up and we will move forward. Well, today, we're shining a light on how USDA's Mentoring and Disability Employment Programs have partnered with the National Disability Mentoring Coalition to present a model for others to emulate and replicate. We're working together to include all applicants and employees, and more specifically, to improve our recruiting, our hiring, our advancement, and our retention of folks with disabilities. Our hope is that all federal agencies will further expand existing mentoring programs, reach out to NDMC to connect with youth and adults with disabilities, and to make a concerted effort to include current employees with disabilities in your mentoring efforts. I mean, they said we all need to start at home. We have folks here who need mentors. We want to do that. We have folks that are coming in. We want to be able to mentor them too. As our federal workforce transitions to a new administration, and you all know that we're going to go through that here in the next couple of months, I will continue to fight to widen the pathway to opportunity for individuals with disabilities, and supporting our managers in their efforts to increase disability inclusion. Because it's only through engagement and communication that we will dispel some of the myths out there and the misconceptions and the unconscious bias. During National Disability Employment Awareness Month, we celebrate the ways individuals with disabilities strengthen our workforce, our community, our country. And we recommit to cultivating an America where all people are able to build vibrant futures for themselves and for their families. Dr. Maya Angelou, a noted poet and author, she overcame many obstacles to become a very successful poet and author. And she said, in order to be a mentor and an effective one, one must care. You must care. You don't have to know how many square miles are in Idaho, because I don't know. And you don't need to know what is the chemical makeup of chemistry or in blood or in water. Know what you know and care about the person. Care about what you know and care about the person you're sharing it with. I had an opportunity to go to the movies this weekend, and I saw this movie called The Magnificent Seven, and the great actor Denzel Washington also said, "Show me a successful individual and I'll show you someone who has a real positive influence in his or her life." I don't care what you do for a living. If you do it well, I'm sure there was someone cheering you on and showing you the way. That person was a mentor. So today, as we honor all people with disabilities and as we strive for the betterment of generations to come, let us work and continue to remove obstacles to employment. But not only that, let us work also to continue to create opportunities so that every American has a chance to develop their skills and make make their unique mark on this world. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing. And I look forward to the rest of the program. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Derek Shields. I'm the co-chair of the National Disability Mentoring Coalition. I'm joined today off on my left, your right, by Raina Alward. She's the other half of my co-chair of the Mentoring Coalition. We appreciate the opportunity to address the Department of Agriculture and all federal partners here today. Certainly thank Mr. Shorter for your remarks, Secretary Vilsack's support of mentoring to and through employment, and Mr. Shorter for your service to our country. Thank you. This is a great day for mentoring. This is a great day for people with disabilities, and somehow this is an amazing day for the National Disability Mentoring Coalition. I'm going to share with you a 2-year story of how that happened, and a 6-year story about my mentor, Susan Daniels. So let's start out with the mission of the Disability Mentoring Coalition. We're an organization that focuses on increasing the awareness, the quality, and the impact of mentoring for youth and adults with disabilities across the country. Got that? So if you didn't know about it before, now you know about it. So we checked the box on awareness. Now we're working on the quality and the impact. Certainly, the dedicated professionals around the country that have been doing this work for 30 years appreciate the federal involvement with disability mentoring programs. So there's an entire industry of disability mentoring professionals, but you don't really know them by name. You know mainstream organizations like Junior Achievement. I'm a product of Junior Achievement. Maybe some of you went to Big Brothers Big Sisters. There's organizations in communities across the country we're all familiar with. However, we're less familiar with the disability mentoring community. I'm proud to thank and recognize the Department of Agriculture for helping change that today by signing a memorandum of understanding with the Disability Mentoring Coalition to do some specific things. We're honored that Secretary Vilsack took time out of his schedule to record his message. I hear he's busy. There's a campaign going on. We're also honored and thankful for our partnership with the Office of Human Resource Management, with Allison Levy as the Disability Program Manager here, willing to take a risk and do something that's different, to innovate here at the department, to see if we can't move the needle, not a little, but a lot. And finally, I'm thankful for my partnership with the Office of Operation, Dwayne and the team at the Target Center, and Deanne Clayton. I've worked with the USDA Target Center since 1998. And it's a real honor to see the partnership between the Office of Operations and the Office of Human Resource Management here. So the Disability Mentoring Coalition was founded in December 2014, just under 2 years ago, We were 10 organizations that focused on the importance of mentoring youth with disabilities in the country. Some groups you know, the American Association of People with Disabilities, they have the brand around disability mentoring. Disability Mentoring Day is the third Wednesday of every month in the country. I hope some of you participate in Disability Mentoring Day as part of Disability Employment Awareness Month. There were some other groups at the table though. The National Council on Independent Living, or NICL. They're a little bit less familiar. NICL runs 401 centers for independent living around the country that conduct peer mentoring. Peers advising others in their community about how to address community living, independence, and real community inclusion. Sometimes that's about employment, but other times it's about practical life. How do I get from point A to point B? Then we had some smaller players at the table that you might not know about as well. Big names like the Reeve Foundation, but little programs running spinal cord injury peer mentoring programs, and then an organization called Broad Futures that provides internships with embedded mentoring for individuals with learning disabilities. That our taxpayer-supported educational system got to school not once, but not twice. On the third time, they couldn't make it. Broad Futures comes in and changes that, giving them practical experience and a mentor. I see Carolyn Jepson here from Broad Futures. Thanks for joining us, Carolyn. She's the founder and executive director, doing amazing work, a game changer. So those 10 organizations started 2 years ago, and today we're 39 organizations bringing in mentoring from all types of models in all corners of the country. What's interesting around mentoring is when you say it, some folks are like, oh, we don't do that. And then you talk to them for a little while, and you know what? They're doing that. They just don't use the M word. It might be an internship, it might be apprenticeship, it might be informal or authentic mentoring, it's called. But mentoring is happening all over the country, and our disability organizations are drastically underfunded, so they don't have the budget to bring their message out like our counterparts in the mentoring space. So when we talk about increasing awareness to the disability mentoring mission, we are, as an organization, building a brand to change the awareness of the importance of mentoring in the disability community. We heard some data before, joined here by the mentor, the National Mentoring Partnership. Abby Evans, thanks for coming today. So David Shapiro, the executive director of Mentor, will tell you 1 in 3 youth in the United States grows up without a mentor. So let's put that in a different term. 1 in 3 youth in the United States does not have a role model. That's a pipeline to PRISM for the disability community, not a pipeline to work. We know our federal partners at the National Council on Disability are addressing that. We applaud their efforts, and we're here to partner to make a change so role models exist for the millions of Americans with disabilities. Today, with those almost 40 organizations, we provide services and activities in 4 different areas. The first and most important one is providing connections for the community of professionals doing the work. So it's tough when you do this work and you don't have a sounding board. So it's a network for individuals to come together for monthly meetings, to strategize on expansion of capacity, and to try to diversify so they can have a broader impact in their community. The second one, I mentioned Mentor, the National Mentoring Partnership. We work with this organization who is the national leader in mentoring for youth with disabilities to build more inclusive mainstream operations. That doesn't happen overnight, but it is happening. And they've stepped up to the bat to partner with the National Disability Mentoring Coalition to effect change. And this year at the summit here in DC on February 1st, the disability community has a seat at the table. We're going to have a pre-conference national summit where we can create strategy. We're going to invite our federal partners in to engage with the mainstream mentoring organization, and we're going to begin to effect change so the individuals with disabilities that are already being served will feel comfortable in disclosing their disability and be able to receive enhanced and improved services. So we thank Mentor for that partnership. Thanks for being here, Abby. The third area that we're working on we call resources. That's building a national mentoring opportunity pipeline, right? So what we have is a fragmented disability service system in our country. and our federal partners are spending a generation to fix that. We also have a fragmented mentoring opportunity pipeline. So our organization is bringing these partners together. So when you're in a school-based mentoring program and you graduate from that, you don't graduate from finding your next mentor, right? So who's commonly your first mentor in life? Your mom or dad? Well, I'm psyched to point out in the audience today, my mentor, my first mentor is my dad, Lee Shields, and he came down this morning to join us today. So thanks for being here, Dad. My dad told me the value of the work ethic. And it's such an important instilled belief that I have. I never even think about it. I didn't know what it was like to live without work ethic. But at around 15 or 16, I didn't want my dad to be my role model anymore, right? So who do we graduate to? And we need to move along a pipeline that drives you to community inclusion and employment opportunities. So our coalition of 4-day organizations is the pipeline. What we have to do is put a front door to that so people can easily find it. Disability advocates and allies like myself should be able to find the front of the pipeline, the middle of the pipeline, and the end of the pipeline, and we're going to make that happen. The last area that we provide is in the area of recognition. That was our ploy. How did we get everyone to the table? So we decided that everyone loved an award ceremony. And in 2015, we created the Susan M. Daniels Disability Mentoring Hall of Fame. That was to honor and recognize leaders in the disability mentoring community that were operating programs and also providing leadership mentoring to key individuals. So I'm honored to have a few of the 2015 inductees. I'll introduce our next speaker in a moment. She's one. But today we're also going to do a recognition ceremony here at the Department of Agriculture during our mentoring luncheon that Mr. Shorter spoke to. We're going to honor 4 individuals that are with us today. We're going to honor Renee Kirby, a longtime employee at Temple University who's been driving workforce recruitment program students from Temple University to the federal sector for almost 20 years. Renee is with us. Raise your hand, Renee. Thank you for all you do. We're going to recognize Regina Snowden, the founder and executive director of Partners for Youth with Disabilities in Boston. When she started this work in 1985, parents of children with disabilities had nowhere to go. She changed that. She created the disability mentoring field, and we thank her for that leadership. We're going to recognize Kathleen Brockway this afternoon, better known as Kat. Kat was a former federal employee at the National Institutes of Health, is now with the National Association for the Deaf. Her nominator called her out for being a disability and deaf rights advocate and being a game changer to helping people navigate from school to work. Thanks for all you do, Kat. And our 4th and final inductee today is Daniel Davis in the middle of the auditorium. Daniel's an employee of the Department of Health and Human Services, worked at the National Council on Independent Living, and came directly from the orthopedic this morning because he injured himself. Made it here with a boot on his foot. Thanks for coming today, Daniel. So now to our memorandum of understanding. We're proud to have this agreement in place, the first of its kind, to elevate mentoring for youth and adults with disabilities. But the work is in front of us. We made it to this milestone moment. So what are the things that we'll actually do to support our partnership with Allison and the Department of Agriculture? So one thing we're going to do is help federal employees, including Agriculture Department employees around the country, find mentoring programs so they can be a mentor in a community, right? So what this is about a call to service. And if somebody has helped you before, you need to return that. Since 1975, our country has had mainstream educational programs. You want to know why I know that date well? I was 5 years old in 1975. I am the first generation of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act for mainstreaming in the country. And it is time that we don't pass the buck. We stand up and we start to mentor people and help one at a time change inclusion in America. My son's in college now. He would not stand for what I allowed to have happen in my generation. So this is the generation that's going to change it, and I applaud the Department of Agriculture for being interested to supply the mentors to the demand that is out there. We're going to help with the recruitment and referral system. Like in the Flash Mentoring event today, we're providing some mentees to engage and learn how to submit applications and navigate the streamlined hiring system the federal sector has created. And last, we'll provide some technical assistance on upward mobility mentoring and e-mentoring programs that are available. This is exciting and new, but it has to be of purpose and be of use. To be of use, it's a poem by Marge Percy. It was also a poem of my favorite person and mentor, Susan Daniels. We named the Mentoring Hall of Fame after her. Susan didn't like to sit in a back room. She liked to get into the muck. And that's why she liked this poem. I'll read you a little bit. To be of use. I love people who harness themselves in ox to a heavy cart, who pull like water buffalo with massive patience, who strain in the mud and the muck to move things forward, who do what has to be done again and again. I want to be with the people who submerge in the task, who go into the fields to harvest, and who work in a row and pass the bags along, who are not parlor generals and field deserters, but move in common rhythm when the food must come in or the fire be put out. I ask you all to participate in mentoring in your community. Whether it's a person with a disability or a person without, disability is prevalent in 1 in 5 lives. It's prevalent in more than that. It's in your neighborhood, it's in your community. We need your involvement to have a purpose and to be of use. Again, I thank the Department of Agriculture for being innovative. I thank Raina for your partnership and friendship in this work. I thank the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the Office of Personnel Management, and the Department of Labor for being here today in supporting mentoring for youth and adults with disabilities in our country. With that, it's now my honor and privilege to introduce our next speaker. Jennifer Sheehy is the Deputy Assistant Secretary for the Office of Disability Employment Policy, better known as ODEP, at the U.S. Department of Labor. The mission of ODEP is to develop policy to increase job opportunities for youth and adults with disabilities. Prior to her current position, Jennifer spent 10 years at the U.S. Department of Education, including as Acting Director of the National Institute on Disability and Rehabilitation Research, Acting Deputy Commissioner of the Rehabilitation Services Administration, and Special Assistant to the Assistant Secretary of the Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, or OSRS. Jennifer came to the Department of Education from the Presidential Task Force on Employment of Adults with Disabilities, where she was Senior Policy Advisor and served as the Associate Director in the White House Domestic Policy Council. Some of that might seem like a while ago. My point is that she's been doing this work as a champion of ours for a long time. Jennifer earned a Bachelor of Arts from Cornell University, also a member of the Disability Mentoring Coalition, and she graduated with honors from Georgetown University, where she received her MBA. She has received many civic and achievement awards. Today I'll just mention one. In 2015, the National Disability Mentoring Coalition inducted Jennifer into the inaugural class of the Susan Daniels Disability Mentoring Hall of Fame as one of 25 champions and leaders for disability inclusion for the first 25 years of the Americans with Disabilities Act. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor and privilege to introduce to you our great supporter of disability employment and mentoring, Deputy Assistant Secretary for the Office of Disability Employment Policy, Ms. Jennifer Sheehy.
So much. And can you guys hear me? Is my microphone on? Now, yes. Good. Thank you so much, Derek and Raina Aylward, our partners with the Disability Mentoring Coalition. And I'm so grateful for the USDA and my friend Allison Levy and the Deputy Assistant Secretary for hosting us today. It couldn't be more exciting to have the first official National Disability Employment Awareness Month event focused on mentoring, because mentoring really is the very first thing that you need when you are about to embark on the career of your dreams, or learn about careers that might not be your dream when you experience it, but it's all part of the path of following your dreams. But comedian and author Mitch Hedberg said this about following your dreams. He said, "I'm sick of following my dreams. I just want them to tell me where they're going and I'll hook up with them later." It's hard work. And when you think of all the challenges that young people today have to go through to get through school and get the job, get the internship, to be successful, to get to the job. And if you're a person with a disability, you might even have a few extra challenges there. But I want to assure people that this partnership that you're seeing today is designed so that people, particularly youth with disabilities, don't have to go about this by themselves. You have partners in us, and we're here, and our job as public servants of the federal government and the country is to help you achieve your career and financial success. So thank you very much for including us today. I just want you to remember a couple of things today for your own benefit and for those who you might serve as mentors to later. Our Office of Disability Employment Policy, we do look at policy across federal programs and work with Congress and the White House and states and particularly employers on inclusion and setting up wonderful disability and diversity programs that make sure anyone with any difference is included and really works to their potential. But it's also very important to have resources. You know, policy is great, but we also provide technical assistance and resources. So all you need to remember is dol.gov/ODEP, because we can steer you to some of those resources when you need them, if you're a federal government employee or if you're in the private sector. We, as an office, do put out a theme every year for National Disability Employment Awareness Month. This year's theme, as you've heard, is #InclusionWorks. And that hashtag is important because it really shows that we want to capitalize on social media to expand our reach and build awareness and make sure that disability and diversity is front and center in everyone's minds. What we would like you to do is post your tweets and your pictures, photos, anything that shows this message of InclusionWorks online, and use the hashtag InclusionWorks. Maybe throw a cat in the picture and it'll go viral. So join us and help us really expand and build the awareness for Disability Awareness Employment Month. But make sure that it's celebrated throughout the year. We do a lot for youth with disabilities, and we do have our Technical Assistance Center for youth with disabilities. They put out something called the Guidepost for Success. And among those important factors that contribute to someone's success is leadership development and experiences, work experiences, and caring adults like mentors. I've been a mentor myself, and I've had the privilege of having mentors. And sometimes it's about spending some time with someone and helping them make some decisions or understand what's right. And sometimes it's about steering people in the right direction or correcting that path. For example, one of my mentors, great high performer, high achiever, I had to explain to her in her mentorship or in her internship that you don't wear flip-flops and a Snuggie to work. Even in the federal government, where sometimes almost anything goes. And my own mentor was the National Organization on Disability CEO Alan Reich, who since has passed away. But he was great, and he really picked me up when I had had my spinal cord injury and then was relearning how to do everything that I needed to do. And he was very supportive. He steered me in the right direction, and again, he corrected me. I, of course, you know, part of having a mentor is having a risk-free person to help you have the freedom to make mistakes that are very important for learning. And he did that for me. In my first job, he helped me and gave me my first job. But I wasn't as familiar with some of the things that they needed done in the National Organization on Disability. And my first press release inadvertently had several fish puns that I was not aware of even until he read them out loud to me. And very nicely steered me into using my thesaurus and finding other words. But these are little things that mentors might do. It might not take up a lot of time, but knowing in your heart and in your life that you have a caring adult, someone that you can go to and ask those questions, is extremely important. A couple other things that we want to make sure you know about. We do have a fantastic network called eFedLink of employees with disabilities and hiring managers and selective placement coordinators in the federal government. And we have webinars. We put on information and events and share information with each other so you can learn about being an employee or hiring and retaining employees in the federal government. It's so important. And my colleague and friend, Commissioner Feldblum, will talk about this more in a minute, I'm sure. But we have been very excited about the President's executive order on hiring people with disabilities that he issued in 2010. And in 5 years, we have been very successful in actually meeting the goal that he set out. And I see Michael Murray in the audience, who was with the Office of Personnel Management at the time and has been a great champion. And of course, he's with the American Association of People with Disabilities now, celebrating Mentoring Day on October 19th.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Anytime, Michael. So, because of that executive order, agencies really were held accountable and reached the hiring goal of 100,000 people in the federal government in 2015. I think you guys should all be And like October 19th, 19% of people hired in the federal government last year were people with disabilities, and there are about 19% of people with disabilities in the U.S. population. So that's exactly what we're hoping for. We want our federal workforce to look like the community we serve. So it couldn't be a better number and a better result. We have got to work together to make sure people with significant disabilities have a role and a place and opportunities in the federal government. But again, we will work together to help all of us achieve that kind of success. So as I wrap up, I just want to remind people what Confucius said: choose a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life. And I feel like with mentoring and with supports that people can choose the job they love, that we will be there to help them. We need everyone's contributions. The world needs everyone's full contributions. And we have to work together to make all of us successful. Thank you so much.
you so much, Jennifer, and thank you for taking time from your very busy schedule to be with us today. At this time, I'd like to introduce our next speaker. I'm introducing Kai Feldblum, who is a commissioner with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Ms. Feldblum began her service as a commissioner of the EEOC in April 2010. She was confirmed by the Senate for a second term, which will end on July 1st, 2018. Now, Kai and I are Facebook buddies, and I follow her religiously. She's always posting wonderful things, and I encourage you to follow her as well. During her service on the Commission, she has focused on all the employment civil rights issues within the jurisdiction of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. She has focused in particular on the employment of people with disabilities, pregnancy, accommodation, sexual orientation, and transgender discrimination, harassment prevention, the structure and process of the federal sector complaint system, and strategic planning for the Commission. That's a lot. Prior to her appointment to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, Commissioner Feldblum was a professor of law at the Georgetown University Law Center. She founded the Law Center's Federal Legislation and Administrative Clinic, which represented a range of organizational clients focused on social justice. She also founded Workplace Flexibility 2010, a policy enterprise focused on finding common ground between employers and employees on workplace flexibility issues. Many of us, I'm sure, are tapping those flexibilities every day. Commissioner Feldblum played a leading role in helping to draft and negotiate the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 and the ADA Amendments Act of 2008. She has also worked to advance lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender rights and was one of the drafters of the original Employment Non-Discrimination Act. Commissioner Feldblum is the first openly lesbian commissioner of the EEOC and is the fourth person with a disability to serve on the commission. Commissioner Feldblum clerked for Judge Frank Coffin of the First Circuit Court of Appeals and for Supreme Court Justice Harry A. Blackmun after receiving her JD from Harvard Law School. She received her BA from Barnard College. Please join me in welcoming Commissioner Feldblum to the podium.
Welcome everybody in this room. Gotta bring that microphone down for us short people. Welcome to everyone in the room. Welcome to everyone watching on YouTube. Welcome to hopefully everyone following on Twitter right now at Inclusion Works. And anyone out there who's got a phone, take a picture, post it, Inclusion Works, yay! So I think I'm just lowering my voice just a little, or am I lowering the microphone a little? Oh, you're not talking to me? I see signals. I think she's talking to me. So number one, kudos. Really kudos to Allison and all of your colleagues here at USDA for putting this together. Kudos to Derek and Rainer, clearly the fearless leaders of the National Disability Mentoring Coalition. I am thrilled that the secretary of this great agency was able to announce an MOU with your coalition, and I look forward to next year's ending where we have 20 agencies that have filed MOUs with you. That should be our goal. And let's get Inclusion Works every time another agency signs an MOU this year. And you can follow me on Twitter too, by the way, okay? At Kai Feldblum, or follow me on Facebook or LinkedIn. I do them all because it's about getting the word out. Okay. So my friend Bob Williams, who is someone I have certainly learned from and laughed with over the years. The guy has a wicked sense of humor. He often quotes this line from FDR's 1944 State of the Union, also was called the Economic Bill of Rights speech. And here's what FDR said: "True individual freedom cannot exist without economic security and independence." Right? If people do not have economic security and economic independence, they are not free. And the way you get security and independence is to have a job. Have a job. Everybody needs a job, and that includes people with disabilities. So how do we get there? How do we get to a society in which we all assume that every person with a disability, including significant disabilities or manifest disabilities, that everyone with a disability, including significant disabilities, has a job? How do we get to that place? Well, there are various things that we can do. Law is one, policy is another, individual actions like mentoring is another, changing social norms and expectations, they all work together. Law is one important piece of it. And in fact, in 1973, Congress enacted Sections 501 and 503 of the Vocational Rehabilitation Act of 1973. Now, Congress had been passing these types of voc rehab acts for years, basically post-World War I, when veterans were coming back physically disabled, and they gave money to states to create voc rehab programs. But in 1973, Congress added two sections that were about ensuring non-discrimination and affirmative action in employment. Right? It wasn't just good enough to get someone rehabbed so that they could serve themselves a meal. Let them get a job so they have the money to go out to a restaurant and have someone else serve them a meal. Right? So Section 501 said that the federal government shall engage in affirmative action in the hiring, placement, and advancement of people with disabilities. Section 501 to the federal government, Section 503 to private businesses that had contracts with the federal government, that they also had to engage in affirmative action. Well, for almost 40 years, the commission that I am proud to be a member of, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, that was created as part of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 to help implement our nation's civil rights employment laws. For over 40 years, the EEOC has also had responsibility for enforcing and implementing Section 501, part of the law that says the federal government shall engage in affirmative action. And the EEOC has done so by putting out guidance to federal agencies about what their affirmative action plans should look like, by giving technical assistance to federal agencies, and also by hearing complaints of discrimination from individual federal employees or applicants for federal government work. In the past 7, I think now 8 years that I've been on the commission, I am proud that the EEOC has truly upped its game in terms of ensuring employment opportunities for people with disabilities. And we have done that in two ways. One is, we have ensured that our opinions that we issue in individual cases of discrimination, right? We get a claim from a person with a disability that a qualification standard excluded them, or reasonable accommodation was not provided. We are not only writing these opinions, which we've been doing for years, but we are publicizing some of these opinions where we have set forth an advance or clarification in the law. And that's huge, not only for the federal sector, but for the private sector. Private sector management and plaintiff lawyers, they didn't have a clue about what the EEOC did in the federal sector. I didn't have a clue before I became a commissioner, and I've been doing this work for 30 years. But when the commission issued its federal sector decisions explaining how LGBT people were covered under existing sex discrimination law, we used federal sector opinions to establish that point of law. Suddenly, people in the private sector perked up their ears. Well, we're doing the same thing with federal sector decisions on disability. The other way in which we have upped our game is by following our sister agency, Department of Labor, the Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs, OFCCP, another division within Department of Labor, that issued regulations to enforce Section 503 of the Rehabilitation Act. Section 503 is the one that said government contractors have to engage in affirmative action, and the Department of Labor took the lead of setting targets for government contractors. We at the EOC are doing the same now for the federal government. Now, for years, the EEOC has expected in affirmative action plans targets from agencies. For years. And some agencies have done better than others. For years, we have said to agencies, you must tell us not only how many people with disabilities you have, but how many people with targeted disabilities. And this is why that's so important. I'm the fourth person with a disability to serve on the commission, but you don't know that I have the disability of depression and anxiety disorder unless I come out and tell you, right? I assure you, if you hadn't heard in the bio that I'm the first lesbian commissioner, and by the way, sometimes it's always in my bio, but sometimes it's just not said in the introduction, whatever business conference I'm at, and then I'll say, okay, how many of you thought when I came up here, oh my goodness, that must be the first lesbian commissioner of the EOC? No, right? Because I don't meet that stereotype of what you think. So I have to come out as a person with a disability for you to know that I am. If I had cancer or heart disease or diabetes, all of these things are disabilities, thankfully, under the ADA. So if I were discriminated against on those bases, well, I needed an accommodation, like I had to go to therapy or go to a doctor, I would have protection. But it's not the type of disability that's going to cause me a blockade right when I walk in for the interview. It's just different if I am deaf and I need a sign language interpreter, if I'm blind and I'm coming in with my cane or my seeing eye dog, if I'm using a wheelchair, if I am someone on the autism spectrum and that's more obvious, or I am someone with a significant psychiatric disability, not depression and anxiety disorder, which if they were not medicated, I'd probably still be doing as much as I do, but with less good quality of life, is what I think. But it's different than if I had bipolar disorder and I had been in an institution for a year and there was that blank year in my resume. These are folks who are just as capable, just as competent, should be expected to work just like everyone else, but who face extra hurdles. That's why we say at the EOC, and we will put in our proposed 501 rule, and all of you just send good karma so we get the final rule out in the next, hopefully, month. We say agencies must have two types of targets. 12% targets for all people with disabilities. Because the truth is, you can hit 20% easily, but 12%. There you just get people to self-identify, have a safe space to self-identify. 2% target for people with targeted disabilities, which are simply the ones I mentioned, manifest disabilities or significant psychiatric disabilities or people in the autism spectrum. So, the other thing our final reg will do, hopefully, is require for the first time agencies to provide personal assistance services to people with disabilities who with PAS they can have a job, go to all the restaurants they want, and not be home on benefits. So we are hoping that that will be in our final reg. So let me conclude by saying, ultimately this is all about jobs, because it's about economic security and economic independence. And mentoring can be one huge piece of that, and creating a sense of obligation, creating the sense of this is right for us as a society to make sure that everyone in the workplace reflects our country, that will finally get us to where we want to be. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Feldman. Very inspiring. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Zena Such, who recently joined the Senior Executive Service as the new Office of Personnel Management Director of the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. Dr. Such now works with federal departments and agencies across the nation to help them better understand how to recruit and retain talented individuals from all communities. And she will develop comprehensive strategies to drive and integrate diversity and inclusion practices. Her main responsibilities are to examine federal policies, government-wide data trends, and employee survey findings that affect OPM's management of HR policy, specifically those that deal with diversity and inclusion issues throughout the federal government. Prior to joining OPM, Dr. Such served as the Director of the United States Department of Agriculture's Office of the Executive Secretariat, leading its oversight of all correspondence for Secretary Vilsack. 2 jobs ago, she also served as my former boss. USDA's Director of Diversity, Recruitment, and Work Life, and the Office of Human Resources Management. I also like to call her my mentor because she's taught me a lot. So at this time, please welcome Dr. Zena Such to the podium.
Thank you. It's truly an honor to be back here at USDA. I've only been with OPM for 4 months, and I think 2 weeks I took vacation. I needed it, really. It's a whole different organization, but a great one as well. I wanted to share a little bit about what OPM is doing and a little bit about my own personal stories. My background, which was not read, is that I started out in education, and my degrees were in special education. I was very drawn to being a person that can change the way we look at students who are coming into the school system. And I'm not going to reveal my age to tell you when I started that, but it was during the time where looking at bringing students with disabilities into the classroom had just started. And so I have an affinity or a closeness, I think, I feel, to making sure that those students who I cared about all the way back then and gone through the school systems actually come out of school and have the opportunities that we're talking about now. Not only to overcome barriers, but it's our job as federal agency leaders to make sure that those barriers are constantly examined, that we're always looking and asking ourselves questions. The questions we need to ask are we offering the same kinds of opportunities? Are we making it the same for every single person that comes to that USA Jobs website? Are we making sure that when an employee or a potential employee comes to our offices, that they are treated with equal respect and guidance and kindness and compassion? We heard a lot of great words today, and I did write notes, but a lot of these wonderful people today said some stuff that I was going to say, but I'll just repeat it. One of the things that OPM has done is we've taken a look at the diversity strategic plan for federal government. We called it inclusive diversity, and what we mean there is that we're looking at behaviors that promote collaboration among a diverse group. And the reason that we use the word behaviors is because it truly comes down to how we behave moment to moment, hour to hour, day to day. Do we know ourselves well enough to know if we carry some kind of bias? Do we even know it? We all do, we just don't know what kind it is. Some of us may look at a person in a wheelchair and automatically jump to some conclusion. We don't know why, we don't know how come we think that way, but we do. The more we know about ourselves, the more we know about who we are and what those biases are, the better we are at being able to change our behaviors, which then will change exactly how we treat others in the workplace to make it an inclusive workplace. The strategic plan looks at 3 different areas, and we made it very simple: leadership, inclusion, and data. So we need your leaders to be champions. And here at USDA, I'm very proud to say, I was part of that. I was able to watch firsthand as Secretary Vilsack, as the Chief Human Capital Officer, and Bobby Jean Court, as Malcolm Shorter. They are here at these events. They are videotaping. Every time Secretary Vilsack sent out a weekly email to folks, he didn't ignore the fact that USDA needed to make more progress, but he always made sure the employees knew that he cared about them, he cared about people with disabilities, he cared about underrepresented groups, and he cared about every employee that came to work every single day. People felt included. When you look at inclusion, this, what you're doing right now, looking at partnerships, and by the way, I'll be looking to see if OPM can have an MOU. These kinds of opportunities to be able to learn about the organizations that are external to federal government are the types of activities and partnerships that will help promote that inclusive environment in your workforce. It takes more than just the MOU. And that's why these events where you're inviting people and you're inviting people from outside of your own organization to come in and learn about what USDA is doing, where we get to then spread the word, but then remind people that it's there, remind people to reach out, remind people to take action, to look at your behaviors. And I'm going to keep coming back to that because the way you act, the way you behave determines what decisions you make. Knowing yourself, knowing your biases is going to impact the way that you make decisions. So I'm going to keep saying that. The third part is looking at data, because we do know this, that you can't really know yourself, whether it's looking at a 360 assessment or asking the right questions like, am I inclusive? Do you feel left out? Or asking yourself, do I keep visiting the same people over and over again? Have I ignored a certain group or a certain population? But also looking yourself as an organization. Not just looking at the RNOG, which is the race or national origin, but take a look at the systems, the operating procedures, the methods that you use to select people to go to training, the methods that you provide people to find mentors. Is there a process? Is there a door? I love that analogy. Is there a door? Do people know where to walk in to be able to find what they need? I don't know. Reasonable accommodations. These are the questions that we have to be asking ourselves as an organization. Just don't ignore that there are processes in place, even unspoken processes. So basically, the strategic plan that we've put out, and we're asking all federal agencies to do for us, is to return back your strategic plan, looks at those 3 areas. And we didn't prescribe it because every agency is unique. And what our expectation is that you're going to look at yourself and analyze yourself. Because what USDA does really well, there may be areas that they're not doing so well. But Department of Labor might be doing great in that area. And it's our job as the hub of collecting that information, talking with you, meeting with you at federal assistant roundtables where we look at your data with you. It's our job to share those best practices, to make people aware of this mentoring coalition where people can connect with mentors inside and outside of federal government. One of the things that the National Disability Mentoring Coalition has done is created a focal point. And as I said, I would like to explore how OPM can make sure that other federal agencies are aware of this entryway, of this as a tool to make sure that employees across federal government do feel included. I want to thank Jennifer Sheehy for speaking about the executive order and us meeting our goal. That's something I think federal-wide, yeah. That didn't happen just because. It happened because we paid attention to it. We looked at the data. That's the third part of that strategic plan. We didn't let it go. We didn't let the ball drop. All too often we have initiatives where it's great right at the beginning and you throw parties and you throw awareness events and then it fizzles away because guess what? Another great initiative just started. And what I am challenging all of federal government to do is to not let that initiative fizzle. We need to keep our eye on that initiative. We need to be able to take a look. 100,000 employees is not enough. We mastered that. Let's go. Let's keep going. Don't end there. We have to make sure that when we bring employees into our organizations, that we are paying attention to the retention rates. And if they are leaving, why? Are we asking that question? Right? We get top talent. We're all happy about that. But have we asked why someone's leaving? Those are great questions to ask ourselves. So we as OPM, we're going to be asking that. We're going to say, hey, you looked at your hiring, but are you retaining? You looked at your hiring, but how does your reasonable accommodations component work? How do people in your organization feel about that? How do your hiring managers feel about that? Is that an unconscious bias that we're carrying? So these are the types of things that OPM is looking to do. I'm very proud and happy to be here today. Thank you, Allison. I will forever be your mentor, and I hope you will continue to be mine too, because you've taught me a lot. Thank you. I thank you again for inviting me here today to provide these remarks on behalf of OPM's Acting Director, Beth Colbert. And thank you for continuing to work towards removing barriers for people with disabilities, to allow them to pursue their careers and sometimes even realize those dreams. Thank you.
That's what happens when you're 6'2". So I want to thank everyone for really taking time from your busy schedules today, both out in the YouTube world as well as in USDA and across federal service. Having senior leadership from across the United States come in, leadership from within USDA, as well as our new partnership with the National Disability Mentoring Coalition. This did not all happen overnight. It took a long time of planning, a lot of detailed work, and a lot of support from people both inside and outside. So if I were to leave you with one message today, moving forward, we've presented you with a lot of information. We have a very mixed audience, which is not typical for our monthly observances. We've got people from federal sector, we've got people from the nonprofit groups. Hope that you each leave today knowing a little bit more about people with disabilities from a lot of different perspectives. But my one call to action is each one reach one. Just reach out in the next year. We're starting a new fiscal year next Monday officially. Go out and reach one person, hopefully someone with a disability. If not, someone else perhaps who's coming up behind you in the workplace. It doesn't take a leader to do that. In fact, I received a call just yesterday from someone in Texas from a USDA office, and she was all excited. And she said, you know, I just heard about this event. The timing is perfect. I wanted to call you and see if you can mentor this person I saw on the train on the way into work. She has a guide dog. And I'm sitting there juggling lots of tasks, and I thought, wow, she's looking to me to make that change. The reality is I'm one person. But hopefully our message today is going out and reaching a wide swath of people throughout the United States. And so I challenge the individual, you're in a great position to help that person. She said, well, I don't know anything about disabilities, and I'm not in a position, and I'm getting ready to retire in 3 months. I said, well, that's your legacy. Reach out to that person, ask if she needs some support moving forward, and use your connections in Dallas and help that person onto her next job opportunity. So with that, please, each one reach one, share what you've learned today, and carry this throughout the year. Don't wait till next October. Thank you very much. Have a great day.